at all.
Oh, like, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be really cool. You know, I mean,
Since we have the 3 dynamometers, like, we were trying to figure out if we could
Keep one of
potentially
them.
use one of them.
so, you know, $30 isn't nowhere.
So you wish you could do it too.
So, no, actually, I hate them because they break and then they call me. So I'm the sales guy, so anything I say is rumor, not truth. That's the real guy. You can look at it. I mean, you know, stuff, anything. Well, the problem with the Bowdex, not the problem, the issue with the Bowdex is they screw in from the front, right?
Yeah, the back goes in through the side, and it goes in this way to the dynamometer.
Yeah, the challenge that
So that's what I was telling Tim, I don't know that that would even.
I don't think that'll work because what happens to Bowdex, like our thing wants to go through the input arm,
Uh-huh,
and they wanna put a screw in to secure it
Right.
on, so you couldn't, I mean, let's start with no.
Probably the
We'll take it-
safest.
we'll take it from there.
That was my answer to Tim, I was like, but I will ask for you.
Yeah. Plus which, this is, yeah, well, that's why, at least he recognizes it's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Give him credit for that, right? Alright, so the wheel. The wheel's actually pretty cool. So the reason we did the wheel was, do you know the company BTD? Baltimore Therapeutic, they make the work simulators.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and their big thing was this wheel, right? Cause like, these are, rotary patterns, right? Everything we're doing is rotary, we're working around the joint and stuff. But the wheel is a linear pattern,
Right.
right? So, and for occupational medicine, they want us to do multi-joint linear stuff, right? So we're kinda like, and BT was kind of poaching into our territory, trying to go, well, you know, you can do isokinetics with our machine, plus you get the occupational therapy. But you really don't, because they can only do 150 foot-pounds worth of isokinetic. But they can go into really fine. That's what I talked about a little bit when we had the Zoom meeting was, there's 2 types of motors. There's like really strong motors that aren't very fine, or there's really fine motors that aren't very strong. But there's not like really fine motors that are super strong. You kinda gotta pick your.
One or the other.
You have to choose and pick your battles. So if I'm gonna hook up my wheel, so this is the wheel.
It's bigger than I thought it would
It's
be.
a little heavy, so but you got a tattoo, you can do it.
How heavy do you think it is?
I mean, it's doable.
So it kinda goes on like this, right? I know what we do to stabilize it. So it depends on what you're trying to do as an exercise. So this little pin here. Okay. So what kind of patterns do you guys do with this?
So we do a 28-inch lift from floor to waist.
Right,
And
okay.
then, I believe 26 waist to shoulder.
Oh, like that?
They,
Oh,
Come up.
oh, right row?
mhm.
So let's see if we can make this happen. So, stops real fast, so I can play around with the wheel. So this comes down like this. This guy comes out. So this is right off the Cybex table column. We use the same one that they use. Actually, we use theirs. So I'm gonna go with what's called dashboard, which just lets you play around with stuff, because
Okay.
we're kind of experimenting here. So if I don't see the pattern I want, I pick pattern, and it gives me a list of all the directory of all the stuff. So here's the wheel stuff, right? So what you wanna do, standing check, standing deflection. Write stuff down, I guess is what I call it, that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing
lift.
better.
Oh, it says lift, okay. Cool.
Go figure.
Guess how often I use this. Okay, so set up for the wheel. Do you go isokinetic or?
Mhm.
Okay, right. what velocity, do you know inches per second, how fast you're moving? It's not 60 degrees per second, it's
No,
inches per
I
second.
think that one's, I think these are 20 and 30.
And it's concentric, eccentric, right, it comes up and then it comes down,
Yeah, but we only
You probably-
measure
the up, and you probably go down with slower speed.
it's something like they can let it drop down or they can follow it down up there in case it.
Right, so let's do this, I'm gonna put it at 20. So I don't know if 20 feels like that, let's give it a shot. I'll put this at 5 so it doesn't like rip down.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the eccentric torque load, like the over torque.
Mhm.
Okay. So, I want a different handle. You guys do something like
We do
this,
like a
right?
bar, yeah.
Saw that movie coming.
Which for most people, this would probably be fine, it's our stronger guys that this
Yeah.
ain't gonna work,
Yeah, exactly, that's where it gets tricky.
but we won't know until they get on there and do it.
But we determined it's not gonna be harmful to him, it would just,
Right.
Yeah.
But that, we can't use that number is what we
Yeah.
would just have to.
So do you have them squat when
They
the
can
first one?
squat or they can bend.
Show me the motion, what's the first motion?
So they're here, grab it, up, and back in.
Okay, so let's do that, so why don't you grab it? Is that your starting position?
Yeah, so they're here at the ground, and then,
Okay, wait a second, let me do- I see the setting at 0. Great, so that's your starting position, and then go.
so let us know. There
Like
we
that.
go, 28.
Do you want it?
So
There,
let's see, what was that 0 down there?
yeah, that was
Okay,
your
so
zero.
I need to go up,
You're at
31 is what I need to go to. Cause we start at 3.
Hold on more. Hold on, you might get slapped on it. Hold on more.
That's really high. This is very good.
Let's go down, yeah.
Let's go 28, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's that one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna do set round, actually, yeah, set round, that's cool. Alright, so start, so what I need to do is get you back down to 0. So just be careful, okay, cause this thing is, this is, okay, so you wanna give a pull.
Go ahead and pull it.
If you don't, yeah. That's gonna fall back down. Keep pressure on it, there you go. That's your reset, right? And you can pull hard, you're good, you're there. You
Good
can
there.
pull hard.
Oh,
You wanna keep pressure on it.
gotcha.
Now you can pull, you can play all the way down, yep.
Okay.
And then, keep pressure on the line. So,
So is this gonna be a real?
there you go. Oh, it's not a test, oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry,
we're just kinda playing.
Yeah, just playing, just trying to figure out what you want. So just so you know what I'm doing is I'm just holding this and I'm keeping the
Right.
force on it, cause it's eccentric, right? So the way eccentric
Mhm.
works is you have to have a load on it to make it retract,
So yeah,
so I'm kinda
this'll,
cheating.
this'll work with probably most women and our not so strong guys. But,
which is probably 70%
yeah,
to maybe 80,
yeah.
at least on those initial tests.
And then what's the other pattern? You can go higher.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, let's try that. So I'm gonna do cancel here and back. Then what we're gonna do is.
So is that as far as that's about where they start? They don't go all the way
Well,
down?
on Biodex, it starts at 3 inches and we pull them up to 31. So it's a total of 28 inches. So if we go 0 down here, then we would bring it up to 28.
Okay.
And
But that
we would
will,
have to maybe play
You
with
can
it.
put a little small platform.
Right.
That they can stand on.
got you.
And then,
Oh, got
then
you,
we
yeah.
go 30
Well,
to 55.
I'm guessing you do something like, you do like arms straight and up like
Yeah,
this.
so we do
basically.
25.
So you're doing an upright row.
Yeah.
Alright, so for that one, right, the way we'd simulate that, I'm just gonna clear around real quick. Why don't you
Bring it up
grab
once.
that, just put it to your waist, yeah. So the same thing is, I'm sort of manipulating, there's a switch in the center that makes it retract, I'm just doing it, just So arm straight, with your arm straight, your elbow straight, that's probably how you're gonna do an upright row, right?
That'd be pretty close.
Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just make that reflection value, and now you want, you pull it where you wanna stop. So I'm keeping weight on this thing so that the
So
cable
is
is not
this
spooled.
telling me my total range
Yep.
here? So we probably bring it up higher.
That's not your total range, that's your, that you started at 14
Uh-huh.
and you moved to 37.
Okay, so where is it giving me my total range?
Oh, I'm sorry, you gotta do the math, so you're at like 23 inches.
So we go 25, so it'd be in here,
Right there,
somewhere in here, yeah, close enough.
extension, okay? Then I do set round,
Mm-hmm.
great, and then do start. So at the start, you're gonna put your arms back down. And when you're ready, do the thing. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
That one would
something-
work, yeah.
Good work. And Yvonne said, you know,
That one looks better than the other one.
the
Oh,
reason,
it's a lot easier, better mechanism,
Mhm.
that's for sure, yeah.
the reason that they do use the lift task is for their, figuring out their occasional lift, I think,
Mhm.
which, cause we use the pile for the freehold lift.
You can sound.
The occasional lift, we could do a max lift if we needed to.
Mhm.
So on those stronger guys, we would just do a max
Do a
lift
max
with
lift,
them,
yeah.
and then they can figure it out from there.
You know what's cool? I know you guys don't do rehab and stuff, but maybe you're thinking you might. This is where I'm supposed to shut up, but I like using this thing. When I use it, it's actually pretty cool. So if you think about, like, you know, again, all this stuff is isolated joint, right? That's where this all came from. But once somebody's past the isolated joint stage, and you've gotta get them back to multi-joint,
Mhm.
right? It's more functional. So. Anyway, what you can do is. So, control button. Oh. The design for this thing with the holes came off the elevator. I was in Belgium and I saw the elevator, they shared the wheels with the belt going around and had the holes in it. So, that's kinda cool, let's do that, so we did that. Probably about $300 worth of machining that we didn't have to do. I didn't think it was cool. Anyway, check this out. I like this. So isokinetic, concentric, eccentric, right?
Mhm.
So if you pull, I'll show you, so you pull like this, right? I'm just gonna pull me, that's a first start. That's better. So if you pull back and resist it, you can just generate, like, so whether you're doing it this, like,
Mhm.
so your shoulder patients, right? You know, you're working on this, right? But because it's eccentric, they can really resist. But then if you wanna do your internal external rotation and dig into stabilizers, or with that one, you know, when you're doing it on that machine,
Right.
you're pretty isolated. But this is, and the speeds as well. Let me adjust these speeds, let's make it go slower. So if I do this, it brings it down slower. Good job. So, a little force on it. Just gonna finish on back in, there we go. Force on the side, the range is more for me. But the same thing, like if you know, you can do a press, you can do a pull, yeah, there you go. Isn't that cool? I mean, think about when someone has a shoulder injury,
Mhm.
there's always like one direction they just have trouble with, right, that they're having a hard time. There you go. So if the range was set better for you, you'd get that.
Mhm.
But that's it's cool because you get motions that you don't typically get. You know, like you can't use weights and do this unless you put me on a bench,
Right,
right?
but at least this way they can isolate
Mhm.
instead of cheat.
Yeah. I mean, you can, you know, you can do that, whatever you want, basically.
Right.
What's nice is it's that eccentric component on the train side is pretty cool,
Uh-huh.
right? That's still, these are hilarious, that's the wizard we keep them behind. You saw Wizard of Oz, right? He's the wizard. So that's that one. Does that seem
I think.
a possibility for you guys?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot less floor space, that's for sure, right?
Mhm.
In that platform. So, I mean, you gotta, you know, like I was holding the cable to make it retract, you know, but once you learn that, that's pretty good. And it takes pretty good force. I mean, we used the Cybex cable column and matched their cable column in regards to the load that you could get. And because it's a cable, you know, you can, whatever you can think of as a pattern
Mhm.
is what you can do with the reel, so it's really cool. It makes the rotary machine a linear machine. That was the idea,
Yeah.
multi-joint. And then take it off. So whenever I like take a patient off or start switch patients, I always leave this dashboard, because that basically turns off all the active modes and everything, right? Gets rid of the range of motion, so you don't accidentally put somebody else
Mhm.
on the range of motion that they don't belong on.
Does this come with the attachment?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Handles?
it comes with this and it comes with that.
Got it.
Yep.